I didn't do it, I said again, my voice shaking more from disbelief than fear. Ryan stood between us, eyes red, voice trembling. You hit me, Mom, he hit me. The room went dead silent. I could hear the hum of the ceiling fan, the ticking clock above the fireplace, every sound except the one I needed most, Lena saying she didn't believe him. Ryan, I whispered, taking a step forward. You know that's not true. He flinched back dramatically, clutching his arm. You grabbed me. You always pretend to care, but you're just… Enough, Lena snapped. Her voice cracked, and I saw the tears building. Ethan, please. Just stop. Stop? I laughed bitterly. Stop what? Defending myself from a lie? She turned away from me, wiping her cheeks. I saw the bruise. I stared at her. You saw a mark from his football practice. He even told me he told me what really happened, she interrupted. And I believe my son. Her words hit harder than any punch. Lena, I said quietly, I've raised him since he was 10. You think I'd ever hurt him? He's been scared to tell me, she whispered. He said you've been angry lately, that you've been different. My chest tightened. Different? You mean tired? Working 2 jobs? Trying to keep this family from falling apart? Ryan scoffed. You always play the victim. Victim? I turned to him. I gave up everything for you. I taught you how to drive, helped you with your college forms, and now you stand here. Enough. Lena screamed. I can't do this right now. She buried her face in her hands. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Lena, look at me, please, you know me. When she looked up, her eyes were full of something I'd never seen before. Fear. I don't know what to believe anymore, she whispered. Ryan stepped closer to her, protective, possessive. You don't have to believe him, Mom. You saw what he's like when he's angry. I clenched my fists. When I'm angry? You mean when I asked you to stop skipping classes? When I caught you drunk last weekend? See? He shouted. He's always blaming me. I'm stating facts. Lena stepped between us. Stop yelling! Both of you! The air was thick, heavy. The kind of silence that suffocates, Lena, I said softly. If I've ever made you doubt me, I'm sorry. But you have to know I'd never… She cut me off, her voice trembling. I found the broken picture frame, Ethan, the one in Ryan's room. He said you threw it, I exhaled slowly. He threw it himself when I confronted him about his grades. He was drunk, remember? She shook her head. He said you pushed him. That's a lie. Then why won't he look at you? I turned to Ryan. His eyes met mine, cold, calculated. A small smirk flickered on his lips before he spoke again. You scare me, he whispered. Lena gasped. My heart cracked right there. You're lying, I said quietly. And you know it. Get out, Lena said suddenly. What? Please, Ethan, just go. I need time. Time? I took a step back, the room spinning. You're choosing him over me? I'm choosing to protect my son. The words were final. I felt them carve into me. Ryan wrapped an arm around her shoulders like the hero of his own story. It's for the best, Mom. Don't call her Mom like that, I said sharply. You're manipulating her. Ethan, Lena warned. Enough. I looked around the living room, the same one we painted together last summer, the one that still smelled faintly of her lavender candles. Every corner carried a memory, and now every memory hurt. You're making a mistake, I whispered. Maybe, she said softly, but I can't ignore what he said. I laughed under my breath. You're trusting words over years, her lips trembled. Please go. Ryan couldn't hide his grin. Guess this is goodbye. I wanted to shout, to fight back, to tell her she was being blind, but something inside me broke instead. You'll regret this, I said, my voice low. Not because I want you to, but because truth doesn't stay buried forever. She turned away. I'm sorry. No, I said, grabbing my coat. You're not sorry yet. Ryan muttered something under his breath as I opened the door. I didn't bother listening. The night air was cold, sharp, like the silence that followed me out. I walked down the steps, each one heavier than the last. My hands shook, but I didn't look back. The house glowed behind me, warm and golden, like a lie that still believed itself true. For a moment, I thought I heard Lena call my name. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe I wanted to. I stopped by the gate, looking up at the window where Ryan stood watching me. he smirked again, pulling the curtain shut. My throat tightened. I whispered to myself, "You won't win forever." The wind carried my words away, leaving only silence behind. That night I didn't pack. I didn't sleep. I just sat in my car, staring at the house until the lights went out. When dawn came, I drove off with nothing but my keys, my wallet, and the weight of betrayal pressing on my chest. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just left because sometimes silence is the only thing left when love stops listening. The apartment smelled like dust and instant noodles. The walls were too white, too quiet. Every creak of the floor reminded me I was somewhere I didn't belong. I sat on the couch, staring at the half-empty box I hadn't unpacked in a week. Inside were pictures. Lena's smile, Ryan's graduation photo, our wedding day. I shut the box. Some memories didn't deserve air. A knock broke the silence. "Ethan? It's me," Maya's voice called. I hesitated, then opened the door. She stepped in, holding 2 coffee cups. "You look terrible," she said softly. "I feel worse." She handed me a cup. "I thought you might need something warm." "Thanks," I murmured, taking it. The heat stung my hands, but it was better than the cold. She looked around the room. "You haven't unpacked much. I'm not sure if I'm staying." Her brows knit together. "Where else would you go?" "Home," I said before realizing how stupid that sounded. She sighed. "That's not home anymore." "I built it," I said quietly. "Every brick, every plan, every dream. And now I can't even step through the door." Maya sat down. "You don't have to explain yourself to me." "I'm not explaining," I said. "I'm just trying to remember how everything went wrong so fast." She stayed silent for a moment, then asked, "Do you still love her?" My throat tightened. "I don't know. Maybe I love the version of her that believed in me." "She'll regret it," Maya said. "Maybe," I said. "But by then I won't be there to see it." She studied me. "You sound empty." "I am. Words don't matter anymore. I talked, I begged, I reasoned, and none of it mattered. Now I just stop." She leaned forward. "Silence isn't healing, Ethan. It's hiding." I looked at her. "Sometimes hiding is all that's left when speaking gets you nowhere." She didn't argue. She just stared into her cup. "You're stronger than you think." I almost laughed. "I'm weaker than I thought. I spent years trying to be a father to a boy who only saw me as an obstacle." Her eyes softened. "You can't blame yourself for his choices." "I don't. But I blame myself for staying quiet when I should have called out his lies sooner." "Would it have changed anything?" "Maybe not," I admitted. Lena saw what she wanted to see, and I let her. Maya stood, walking toward the window. "You always protect people, even when they destroy you." "Old habit," I muttered. "My father used to say silence keeps peace. Guess he forgot it also kills it." She turned back to me. "You don't have to prove your innocence. The truth always shows itself." I nodded, though I didn't believe it. "You think time will fix everything?" "Not everything," she said. "But it exposes what's real." The city lights flickered through the blinds, drawing thin lines across her face. I envied her calmness. "You ever feel like your whole life was just erased?" I asked. She smiled faintly. "Yes, but erasing isn't the same as ending. You can still start over." I looked at the empty walls again. "Start over with what?" "Yourself," she said. "That's enough." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But belief felt like a language I'd forgotten. She checked her watch. "I should go. Early meeting tomorrow." "Thanks for the coffee," I said. "Keep it," she replied, handing me the extra cup. "You look like you'll need it." When she left, the silence returned, heavier than before. I sat there listening to it breathe. It was strange how something invisible could fill every corner of a room. I picked up the photo of Lena and me at the beach. Her hair was blowing in the wind, her hand in mine. Back then, she said, "You make me feel safe." I wondered if she still remembered saying it. Ryan's smirk flashed in my mind, the look of a boy who knew he'd won. My grip tightened until the frame cracked. I whispered to the empty room, "You took everything, Ryan, but one day you'll understand what silence feels like." The wind rattled the window. I laughed bitterly. "Guess it's already started." I put the photo back in the box and shoved it under the couch. Out of sight, not out of pain. As the night stretched on, I didn't turn on the TV or play music. I just sat there staring at the dark ceiling, letting the quiet speak for me, because silence, cruel, cold, and endless, was the only language I had left. 3 weeks. That's how long it had been since I last heard Lena's voice. I'd called, texted, even sent an email once, though I told myself I wouldn't. Nothing. Not a single reply. Then one morning, Daniel showed up at my office with a grim look. "You might want to sit down," he said. "I'm already sitting," I replied. "What's going on?" He hesitated. "I saw Ryan yesterday. He was driving your car." I froze. "My car?" "Yeah, the one you said was still parked at the house." "It was," I muttered. "What else?" Daniel exhaled. "He was with friends." "They were shopping?" "He used a card, your card." I felt my jaw tighten. "How do you know it was mine?" "I saw the name when he tapped it at the counter. Ethan Cole." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Then I laughed quietly. Guess my silence really paid for their peace. "Ethan, this isn't funny." "I know," I said, rubbing my face. "It's pathetic. Are you going to confront them?" "No, let them enjoy it." I forced a smile. "Every thief thinks the light won't reach them." Daniel crossed his arms. "You're too calm about this. What am I supposed to do? Yell? Threaten a 20-year-old liar and the woman who chose him?" He sighed. "You still love her?" I didn't answer. He leaned forward. "Don't let this turn you into something you're not." "Too late," I said quietly. "That version of me's gone." When Daniel left, I stared at the paperwork on my desk, but the words blurred together. I couldn't stop picturing Ryan behind my wheel, his smug grin reflecting in the rearview mirror. Later that evening, Maya appeared at my door. "You missed the meeting," she said. "I know. I wasn't in the mood." "You're never in the mood lately." "I'm fine, Maya." "No, you're functioning," she corrected. "That's not the same thing." I leaned back in my chair. "What do you want me to say?" "Say something," she said softly. "You don't talk anymore." "What's there to talk about?" "I was thrown out for something I didn't do. Now I'm living in silence while they're out spending my money." She frowned. "Have you told your lawyer?" "I'm not pressing charges." "Why not?" "Because I want them to believe they've won." Her eyes widened. "That's not healing, Ethan. That's punishment." I looked away. "Maybe they deserve it." She crossed her arms. "And what about you? What do you deserve?" I didn't answer. "I didn't know," Maya sighed. "You're not healing," she said gently. "You're hardening." "Maybe hardness is all I have left," I said. "Every time I cared, I got burned." She walked closer. "You're still kind, even if you pretend not to be. That's why this hurts so much." "Kindness is a liability," I muttered. "It blinds you to who people really are." "Not always," she said. "Sometimes it's what saves you." I gave a small, humorless smile. "Tell that to the man sleeping alone in a one-bedroom apartment while his stepson drives his car." Maya sat on the edge of my desk. "So what now?" I wait. "For what?" "For the cracks to show," I said. "They always do." She studied me quietly. "You really think karma's keeping score?" "I don't think," I replied. "I know," she tilted her head. "That's faith, not logic." "Call it what you want," I said. "But truth doesn't stay buried forever." Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and stood. "I have to go. Promise me you'll at least eat something tonight?" "I'll try," she smiled faintly. "Try harder." After she left, the silence filled the room again. I turned off the lights and looked out the window. The city lights glimmered like 1,000 lies pretending to be stars. I picked up my phone, opened Lena's contact, and hovered over the call button. My thumb didn't move. Instead, I typed a message. "I hope he's worth everything you lost." I stared at it for a full minute, then deleted it. No, silence was better. Silence echoed longer. The next morning, Daniel texted me a photo. Ryan again, this time arguing with a store clerk. The caption read, "He's slipping." I couldn't help the small smirk that tugged at my lips. At lunch, Maya found me in the break room. "You look different," she said. "Do I?" "Yeah, lighter." Maybe I just stopped expecting apologies. "That's not peace, Ethan. That's surrender." "Maybe," I said, sipping my coffee. "But sometimes surrender is how you win." She gave me a puzzled look but didn't press. That night, I walked home through the quiet streets, phone buzzing in my pocket. When I checked, there was a message from an unknown number. "Ethan, please call me, Lena." I stared at her name for a long time, my chest tightening. My fingers hovered over the screen, then I locked the phone and slipped it away. Not yet. Let her sit in silence. Let her wonder what it feels like to talk to a wall and hear nothing back, because silence isn't emptiness, it's consequence, and I could already feel karma starting to move. Mrs. Reed caught me just as I was leaving the grocery store. "Ethan," she called, her tone hesitant. I turned, holding a bag of apples. "Mrs. Reed, everything all right?" She glanced around, lowering her voice. "I thought you should know she's not doing well." My stomach nodded. "Who, Lena?" she said softly. "Her son's been in trouble again." I froze. "Ryan?" she nodded. "It's been all over the neighborhood. Police came last night. I don't know the details, but it didn't look good." My fingers tightened around the bag until one of the apples slipped out and rolled away. "Thanks for telling me," I muttered. "I shouldn't be gossiping," she said, sighing. "But I thought you deserved to know. You were always good to them." I forced a weak smile. "Yeah, always." She touched my arm gently. "Sometimes people realize too late who stood by them." I just nodded. Words wouldn't come. The drive home was a blur. My mind replayed every argument, every accusation Lena had thrown at me, all because of Ryan's lies. Now he was in trouble again, and I wasn't there to protect her from the fallout. That night, I tried to focus on work, but the silence felt heavier than usual. I poured myself a drink, sat by the window, and stared at the city lights. My phone buzzed. Unknown number, I answered anyway. "Hello?" For a second, no sound, just breathing. Then her voice. "Ethan?" I closed my eyes. "Lena, please don't hang up," she whispered. "I haven't," I said flatly. There was a pause. I didn't know who else to call. I laughed softly. "You mean after you threw me out, accused me, and let your son drive my car?" She sniffled. "I'm sorry. Sorry?" I repeated. "That's it? He's in trouble, Ethan. I don't know what to do." "Then call the man you replaced me with," I said coldly. "There is no one else." Her voice broke. I was wrong about everything. About you. I leaned back, letting the silence hang between us. "Now you want to talk?" Her breath hitched. "Please, I didn't know what he was doing." "He lied to me." You thought I was the problem," I cut in. I know. Her voice cracked. "But I need help. I can't fix this alone." "You didn't want me when I was there," I said. "What makes you think I'll come back now?" "Because you still care," she said weakly. That hit harder than I wanted it to. I didn't respond. "Ethan, please," she whispered. "I can't sleep." "He's all I have left." I swallowed hard. "You had me once. Remember?" Her sob was quiet but sharp. "I remember every day." Silence filled the line. The kind that says more than words ever could. I could hear her crying softly, just breathing between broken sounds. Finally, I said, "I can't help you, Lena." "Even after everything we shared?" she asked. "Especially because of it." She tried to speak, but only a shaky breath came out. "I hope he learned something from this," I said quietly. "Because I sure did." "What did you learn?" she whispered. "That love doesn't survive where trust dies." Her crying deepened. I almost caved, almost said her name like it still mattered. But then I remembered the night she told me to leave. How she believed Ryan over me without a second thought. "Ethan," she said again, barely audible. "Goodbye, Lena," I ended the call. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was deafening. Every heartbeat felt like a word unsaid. Every breath a reminder that sometimes peace hurts worse than war. I stared at my phone, half expecting it to ring again. It didn't. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky, low and distant. Maybe karma had finally knocked on her door. Maybe it wasn't my place to answer. For the first time in months, I didn't feel angry. Just tired of trying to fix what someone else broke. I set the phone down, exhaled, and whispered to the dark, "Now she knows what silence sounds like." And somehow that felt like closure. The call came on a quiet afternoon. I almost didn't answer. Unknown number again, but something told me to pick up. "Mr. Cole?" A voice said. "Yes, who's this?" Detective Mills, we spoke months ago about your stepson, Ryan. My grip on the phone tightened. What about him? I think you'll want to hear this, he said. His story doesn't add up. We reopened the case. I leaned against the wall. Reopened? After all this time? Yes, there were inconsistencies in his statements. And new information came forward from your company's audit team. My company? I repeated slowly. Apparently, there were financial discrepancies tied to your corporate account. Ryan's name surfaced, several unauthorized transactions. We believe he was using your credentials. I felt my chest tighten. You're saying he stole from me? That's what it looks like, Mills replied. When we cross-checked the timelines, his accusation against you came right after he accessed your files. It fits a cover-up pattern. I closed my eyes, anger flooding every thought. I was kicked out because of him, because of a lie. I remember, Mills said. I read the report. Honestly, something about it never sat right with me. I paced the room, my hand trembling. So you're telling me I was framed by the kid I raised? Unfortunately, yes, he said. We brought him in for questioning this morning. He cracked fast. My pulse spiked. What did he say? He admitted it. Said he panicked when he thought you were about to find out. Claimed it started small, using your card, borrowing your car, forging a few signatures. Then he spiraled. I sank into the chair, every word cutting deeper. And Lena? I asked quietly. Does she know? Not yet, Mills said. We wanted to reach you first, I laughed bitterly. You're the first person to call me in months, Detective. Congratulations. He hesitated. I understand how painful this must be, but I thought you deserved the truth. The truth? I muttered. That's a word that got me thrown out of my own house. I can forward you the official report, he offered. Ryan's facing charges for fraud and obstruction. But I wanted to hear from you first. What do you want to do? I stared at the empty wall across from me. What do I want to do? Nothing. I already lost everything worth fighting for. He cleared his throat softly. Sometimes justice isn't about revenge, Mr. Cole. It's about restoration. Restoration? I scoffed. You can't restore trust. Or dignity. Or the nights I spent wondering how the hell I became the villain in someone else's lie. There was a pause on the line. You're right, he said quietly. But maybe this gives you a piece of it back. I'll believe that when I feel it, I said, ending the call. The silence after felt different, sharper, cleaner. I sat there for a long time, staring at my reflection in the window. The man looking back wasn't angry anymore, just empty. Later that night, my phone buzzed again. A message from Mills. Ryan confessed everything. You're officially cleared. Attached was the report. My name, my record. My vindication, I read it twice. Then again. My hands shook. I should have felt relief, but all I felt was the hollow weight of wasted time. The next morning, Maya stopped by. She took one look at me and frowned. You look like you haven't slept. I didn't, I admitted. What happened? I handed her the report. She scanned the first few lines, eyes widening. He confessed? Every lie, I said. He stole from the company. Used my credentials. When I started noticing the numbers didn't match, he panicked. So he made up a story that would get me out of the way. Maya's jaw tightened, and Lena believed him. I nodded. Without a single question, she sighed. Ethan, I'm sorry. Don't be, I said. It's not your apology to give. She sat down across from me. Are you going to tell her? I hesitated. No, not yet. She deserves to know, does she? I asked quietly. Because when I tried to tell her the truth before, she called me a liar. Now she gets to live with that silence. Maya studied me. You sound colder than usual. Maybe I finally ran out of warmth, I said. She reached out, touching my hand. You don't have to harden forever. I'm not hardening, I replied. I'm healing. Just differently. We sat in silence for a moment. The air between us felt heavy, filled with things neither of us knew how to say. Finally, Maya whispered, You should still tell her. Not for her, but for you. I looked down at the report again. Maybe, just not tonight. After she left, I poured a drink and stood by the window again. The city lights flickered, reflections dancing across the glass. Somewhere out there, Lena was probably sitting in that same living room, wondering why I wouldn't answer her calls. Maybe she deserved to wonder. I folded the report neatly and slid it into a drawer. Let her hear it from someone else, I whispered. For now, silence was still the only language that made sense. The knock came late, too late for visitors, too late for peace. I opened the door and saw Lena. Her eyes were swollen, face pale, hands trembling. "Ethan," she breathed. I didn't move. "Why are you here?" She clutched her purse like it was the only thing holding her together. "It's Ryan. They arrested him." I leaned against the door frame. "Fraud, right?" Her lip quivered. "You knew?" "I found out yesterday," I said flatly. Detective Mills called. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Ethan, please, I didn't know." "He told me. I cut her off." "He told you I hit him. You believed him without a second thought." "I was scared," she whispered. "No," I said, my voice low. "You were willing to believe the worst of me." She stepped forward, her eyes desperate. "He's my son. I had to protect him. And I was your husband," I said quietly. That stopped her. The silence between us felt heavier than the night. She swallowed hard. "I made a mistake." "I see that now. Mistake?" I repeated. "You threw me out of my home, Lena. You let me walk away while he drove my car and spent my money. You called me a liar," she flinched. I didn't want to believe it. "But you did anyway," I said. "You made it easy for him to destroy me." Her knees seemed to buckle as she sank onto the couch. I kept thinking I'd wake up and find out none of it was true. "It was true," I said. "Just not the version you wanted." Maya appeared from the kitchen, her voice soft. "Should I give you two a moment?" "No," I said. "Stay." Lena looked up at Maya, eyes glistening. "You were there for him, weren't you?" "All this time?" Maya nodded gently. "Someone had to be." Lena wiped her tears. "You must think I'm terrible." "I think you were blinded," Maya said. "By love, maybe. But blindness still causes damage." Lena turned back to me. "He's just a boy, Ethan." "He's 24, I said sharply. "Old enough to know right from wrong. Old enough to lie. Old enough to destroy lives." Her voice broke. "They said he could face prison." I said nothing. "Please," she begged. "You know people. Can you talk to the detective? Help him somehow." I stared at her. "You want me to save him after what he did to me?" "He's my son," she whispered. "And I was your husband," I said again, slower this time. "But that didn't matter when you chose him over me." Her breath hitched. "I didn't know what else to do." "You could have trusted me," I said. "That would have been a start." She sobbed into her hands. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I wish I could take it back." I looked at her shaking shoulders, the woman I used to think I'd grow old with. "You can't take back something that killed what was left of us." Maya placed a hand on my arm. "Ethan," she murmured, but I shook my head. Lena stood up slowly, her voice breaking. "I still love you." I closed my eyes for a second. "No, you love the memory of me. The one who would have fixed everything. The one you destroyed, she reached for me." "Please don't say that." "It's true," I said softly. "I spent months in silence because I thought it might hurt you. Turns out, it hurt me more." Her tears kept falling. "I didn't know how to live with the guilt." "Now you do," I said. "Consider it karma catching up." She stared at me for a long time. "You've changed." "I had to," I said. "Pain has a way of rebuilding you, but not in the same shape." She looked at Maya again, then back at me. "So this is it?" I nodded once. "This is it," her voice cracked. "I thought maybe you could forgive me." "I already did," I said quietly. "But forgiveness doesn't mean going back." She broke down completely then, shoulders shaking, sobs echoing through the room. I didn't move to comfort her. I'd done that too many times before. After a while, she wiped her eyes and whispered, "You were always the better one." "No," I said. "I just stopped lying to myself." She turned toward the door, pausing with her hand on the knob. "Will you ever talk to me again?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "But I'll never hate you. That's something." She nodded weakly, then walked out. The door clicked shut behind her, and the apartment went still. Maya let out a long breath. "That was brutal." "It was necessary," I said. She studied me for a moment. "Do you feel better?" I thought about it. "No, just lighter." Maya stepped closer. "You did the right thing, Ethan." "Maybe," I murmured. "But the right thing still hurts." We stood there in silence, the air heavy with everything unspoken. Through the window, the city lights flickered, distant, indifferent. Maya finally whispered, "You can let her go now." "I already have," I said, though a part of me still ached when I said it. The pain didn't vanish, but it softened, leaving something almost like peace. And for the first time in months, silence didn't feel like punishment. It felt like closure. The gate creaked when I pushed it open. The house stood exactly as I'd left it, quiet, polished, lifeless. My footsteps echoed down the hallway where laughter used to live. Lena stood by the door wringing her hands. "You came," she whispered. "I said I'd pick up my things," I replied. Her eyes searched my face. "You look different." "I feel different," I said. She nodded slowly. "Ryan's sentencing is next week." "I know," I answered. Detective Mills called. She took a shaky breath. "He keeps asking for you. Says he wants to apologize." I set the box I was carrying on the counter. "I don't need his apology. You really don't hate him?" she asked softly. "I don't have the energy to," I said. "Hate's heavy." I carried it long enough. Her voice broke. "I lost everything, Ethan." I looked at her for a long moment. "No," I said quietly. "You gave it away." She flinched like the words themselves cut her. "I thought I was protecting my son." "You were protecting a lie," I said. "And you destroyed the truth in the process," she bit her lip. "I wish I could change it." "You can't," I said. "That's what regret is for. It reminds you every day." Her eyes filled again. "Do you ever think about us?" I glanced around the room, the empty picture frames, the hollow silence. "Every day, but not the way you think. I don't miss the love. I miss the peace I thought came with it." She took a step closer. "Maybe we could start over someday." I shook my head. "You can't rebuild trust from ashes, Lena. It doesn't hold." She swallowed hard. "I still love you." "I believe you," I said. "But love without respect is just noise." The air thickened between us. She reached out, her fingers trembling. "Please don't hate me. I told you," I said quietly. "I don't." Her tears fell freely now. "You deserved better." "I did," I said. "But maybe I needed this. To learn what love shouldn't feel like," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." I turned toward the staircase. "Keep the apologies. They won't rebuild what's gone." Her voice trembled behind me. "You won't even look back?" I stopped halfway up. "If I do, I might remember how it used to feel. And I'm not ready to fall again." She didn't follow. The silence filled every corner of the house like a ghost. In the bedroom, I gathered a few old shirts, a couple of books, the photo album she hadn't touched since I left. I flipped it open, wedding smiles, birthdays, laughter that looked real at the time. I pulled out the last photo of us, her leaning into me, both of us pretending forever was certain. My throat tightened, but I didn't cry. I'd already done that enough. When I came downstairs, Lena was sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. "Do you hate the memories too?" she asked. "No," I said. "The memories are innocent. They didn't lie." She closed her eyes. "Then maybe one day you'll forgive me." "I already did," I said. "That's why I'm here, to finish what's left of this story." She looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I'm taking what's mine," I said, lifting the box, "and leaving the rest, including the pain." She didn't stop me. She just nodded, tears running down her cheeks, her voice a whisper. "Goodbye, Ethan." "Goodbye, Lena," I said, and walked out. The evening air hit my face, cool, freeing. I drove to the edge of town, parked by the lake, and opened the box. The photo sat on top. Us. Before everything. For a long time, I just stared at it. Then I took out my lighter. The flame flickered, caught the edge, and turned it to ash. The firelight reflected in the water, small and brief. I watched it burn until there was nothing left but smoke. For the first time in months, I didn't feel anger. Or grief, just stillness. Silence wasn't my weapon anymore. It was my peace. And as the last ember faded, I finally felt free. Ryan's letter came on a Tuesday morning. No return address, just his name in shaky handwriting. I stared at it for a while before opening it. "I wanted to ruin you," he wrote, "but you were the only one who ever cared." I folded the paper, exhaled, and set it on the table. The words didn't sting, they just felt empty, like echoes in a house long abandoned. Later that day, my phone buzzed. Lena's name lit the screen. I let it ring twice before answering. "Ethan." Her voice cracked. "He wrote to you too, didn't he?" "He did." "What did he say?" "That he wanted to ruin me," I replied quietly. "Mission accomplished." She took a shaky breath. I never knew he— Stop, I cut her off. You knew enough. You just didn't want to see it. I was his mother, she whispered. What was I supposed to do? Be fair, I said. That would have been a start. I thought I was, she said, voice trembling. You don't know what it's like. I do, I interrupted again. It's like being punished for loving someone else's mistake. Silence stretched between us. I could hear her sniffing, the faint sound of guilt breaking through the line. I lost everything, she said finally. No, I replied. You traded everything. I didn't mean to choose wrong. You did it anyway. Ethan, please can we meet? Just once? I hesitated, staring out the window. The city lights blurred in the evening fog, reflections twisting on glass like old ghosts. Why? I asked, to apologize. To explain? There's nothing left to explain, I said. We both know how it ended. I still care about you, she murmured. Care isn't love, I said softly. And love isn't loyalty. Please, she whispered again. One last time. I almost said yes. Almost. But the version of me that once waited outside our door, begging to be heard, had already died. I can't, I said finally. Take care of yourself. The silence that followed felt heavier than any argument we'd ever had. When she finally hung up, I didn't move for a long time. That evening, Maya found me by the river. She didn't ask why I looked distant. She just sat beside me, her hand resting on mine. Letter? She asked quietly. Yeah. From him or her? Both, in a way. She nodded. Do you want to talk about it? Not really, I said. Talking won't change what's already done. She looked out at the water, where the fading sun turned ripples gold. You did nothing wrong, Ethan, I gave a faint smile. That's what hurts most, her eyes softened. Because you still care? Because caring didn't change anything, I said. I stayed true and it still fell apart. Sometimes doing the right thing still costs everything, she murmured. I chuckled bitterly. Story of my life. We sat there for a while in silence, listening to the river. The world moved on, people walking dogs, children laughing, the scent of roasted chestnuts from a nearby cart, but I felt strangely still. Maya leaned her head on my shoulder. You're free now, you know, she said. Freedom doesn't always feel like peace, I replied. Sometimes it's just quiet after the storm. But you're not alone in it, she said softly. I looked at her, really looked at her, the calm in her eyes, the warmth in her voice, the steady presence I never asked for but always needed. No, I said finally, I'm not. As night settled, the city lights flickered to life. I thought about Ryan in his cell, Lena in her empty house, and the version of me still standing on that doorstep months ago, pleading to be believed. Now, I understood that silence could say everything. Words never could. I reached into my pocket, pulled out Ryan's letter, and tore it into pieces. The fragments caught the wind, scattering into the river like ash. Maya watched quietly. Closure? Maybe, I said. Or just the beginning of something that doesn't hurt anymore, she smiled faintly. That sounds like peace to me, I nodded. It does. The water shimmered beneath the moonlight, carrying the last traces of the past away. I didn't chase them this time. For once, I let silence speak for me. A year changes everything. The city's noise no longer echoed in my ears. It stayed where I left it, miles behind, buried in glass towers and broken promises. My new home sat on a quiet hill overlooking a lake. The air smelled of pine and rain. Every morning I'd make coffee, open the windows, and let the silence breathe with me. That morning was no different, until I saw her. Lena stood by the gate, hands clasped, eyes searching for something she'd already lost. I froze for a moment, the mug warm in my hands, steam curling between us like ghosts of old words. I walked out slowly. You found me, I said, her voice trembled. It wasn't hard. You never really hid. I didn't need to, I replied. People only find what they're ready to face. She gave a faint, broken laugh. Then maybe I'm ready now. I leaned against the fence. For what? To say I understand, she said softly. Everything. What you meant. What I destroyed. I studied her, the tired eyes, the wrinkles carved deeper by regret. took you a year. It took losing everything, she whispered. Ryan's in rehab. He writes letters but doesn't send them. I don't blame him. I wouldn't forgive me either. You're not here for forgiveness, I said quietly. She shook her head. No, I'm here because silence hurts louder than guilt. I looked past her, toward the road that led nowhere familiar. Silence doesn't hurt anymore, I said. It heals, her lips quivered. I didn't think you'd ever move on. I didn't, I said. I just stopped standing still. She swallowed hard. Is there someone else? I hesitated. There's peace, I said. That's enough, her shoulders fell. You always find the right words. I had to, I said. You stopped listening before. I was scared, she murmured. Of losing my son. Of being wrong. Of seeing the truth. And now, I'm scared of being alone with my choices, she said. That's why I came. You were never alone, I replied. You just didn't want me there when it mattered. She stepped closer, her voice cracking. Ethan, I can't undo what I did. I know, I said. That's why I don't hold it anymore. She frowned. You forgave me? I released you, I said simply. Forgiveness keeps the memory alive. Letting go buries it. Tears filled her eyes. You always talked like that. Calm, distant, impossible to argue with. Maybe that's why you mistook patience for weakness, I said. And silence for surrender, she nodded, voice breaking. I see it now. You were the only one fighting for us. I was fighting for truth, I corrected. Us didn't survive the lies, she looked down. I thought you'd hate me forever. I did for a while, I admitted. Then I realized hate keeps you tied to what hurt you. I wanted peace more than revenge. Lena brushed her tears away, her hands trembling. You got it, she whispered. You look lighter. I am, I said. It's strange. I lost everything, yet somehow gained myself. She smiled weakly. I wish I could say the same. You will, I said. When you stop visiting the past. She looked at the lake behind me, her reflection flickering in the water. It's beautiful here. It's quiet, I said. That's what I needed. Quiet used to scare me, she admitted. Now I envy it, I nodded. You'll find your own version someday. She hesitated, then asked, would you ever want to talk again? I think we just did, I said gently. Her chin trembled, but she smiled through the tears. Then I'll go. I opened the gate, stepping aside. She walked past slowly, pausing once to look back. Ethan, yeah? I just wanted to say I understand now. I met her gaze, but said nothing. Words would only disturb what silence had repaired. She nodded, as if she understood even that. Then she turned, walking down the dirt road, her figure fading into the trees. The wind carried the faintest whisper of her voice, or maybe it was just memory. But I didn't chase it. I walked back inside, set my mug on the table, and looked around the house I'd built alone. Every corner felt calm, alive, unburdened. Maya's photo sat on the counter, taken at the lake months ago. Her laughter caught mid-breath. She was gone for work, but somehow her presence filled the space. I poured another cup of coffee and stepped outside. The sun rose over the water, gold spreading across still waves. For the first time in a long while, I felt whole, not because someone stayed, but because I finally stopped waiting for anyone to return. Peace wasn't a destination. It was the silence I chose to live in, and this time it spoke louder than love ever did.